Hello, my name is Alondra Alfaro, and my presentation is going to be about sexual harassment. What is sexual harassment? Sexual harassment is any kind of verbal harassment, such as talking about the victim's body, asking for sexual favors. It's also any unwanted physical touching, such as touching the shoulder, the leg, anything that's unwelcome physical touching. It's also any visual staring at sexually at body up and down, making the victim feel uncomfortable. And it can also be any cause of offense or humiliation, such as like making quotation mark funny comments or embarrassing comments that can make the victim feel uncomfortable and embarrassed. And it's any kind of abuse like we spoke before. What does sexual harassment look like for women in the workplace? For this case, it can be the boss asking for sexual favors in exchange for a promotion or a raise, like asking for, do this for me and I'll give you a raise. And, usually men will do this too because they feel like women are easy targets. So they'll ask for this. And then it's also touching a woman's legs, shoulders, arms, face when going in to speak privately with the higher up. So this is where they take advantage because they're alone. It creates a negative, hostile working environment for women in which they don't feel comfortable anymore, and they might not even feel like going to work anymore due to this reason, being surrounded by such harassment. And it can also be the boss saying comments to them such as babe, honey, sexy, instead of professionally calling them by their name. Why do women not speak up against their harasser? And most of the time it's because they're afraid of losing their jobs, and most of the time their job is a form of income for them to pay bills and rent, etc. And they think that people won't believe them if they report their harasser due to his position or because he's male. Simply because he's male, and they think that, due to the position, that they won't believe them because they're just a regular employee. And sometimes it could also be because their complaints can be invalidated, like we said before, due to the fact that they're not, they don't have a higher position. And most of the time women choose not to talk about it because they feel like it's their last option. Like they really don't want to get to that point, so they choose to just deal with it, which is pretty sad. And most of the time the major reason is because they're clueless about their legal human rights, and they think that they don't have support, or they feel alone because they think that there's no one that can actually help them, with the situation. And how does it affect women? It affects women by making them feel frustrated, low self-esteem, emotional disturbance, creates fear, affects their work ethic, and all of these emotions can make a woman feel like, can actually interfere with their work ethic. Like they won't be able to work well and might hate their job because they are being sexually harassed. And in return, the company can also be the company can be impacted by this. And some of these visuals are a woman being covered her mouth and touching of her breast, indicating that the harasser has her, in his hands by not letting her speak, and she doesn't have a voice, and he's harassing her. And then we also have a woman holding a banner with the Me Too movement, which the Me Too movement was actually a social movement that allowed women to come forward to speak about their experiences on the media about the type of abuse, sexual harassment they faced. And this allowed them to not feel alone, and had other women relate to them and come together unanimously. And this other picture shows examples of two men harassing them. One is touching her behind, and someone's like verbally like making the lady feel uncomfortable. And then this other picture shows a man groping the woman's leg while they're in a meeting alone. and all these are examples of sexual harassment that occur. And this is just, a thing that we need to understand, is that we as women should speak up about these things happening, because we're not alone, and legally we have human rights that um, help us, speak out about this. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to this presentation, and thank you.